methods and tools used in sociology. Sociology is a discipline, as a discipline was born in an attempt to understand the transformation that happened in the society. That happened in the society. Actually, if you see in the 18th century, we have twin revolutions. One is Industrial Revolution, and the other one is French Revolution. And at that time, it gave scope to the changes in the society. And just because of the changes, in order to understand the causes of changes and the consequence of changes of these changes, a new discipline has been emerged in the 18th century. And we have the classical theorists or sociologists like Auguste Comte, Karl Marx, Emile Durkheim, Herbert Spencer, Max Weber, who tried to study the society using scientific tools and scientific methods, that too in a systematic way, my dear friends. So European philosophers were the first one to use these scientific methods in order to study the society, my dear friends. Why? Because both these revolutions happened in Europe. That is the reason why we have the founding fathers from the European countries. Now, let us go for this sociological imagination. Sociology, as a discipline, had a special way of looking of human behavior by using special tools for studying the human behavior and relations. We are going to have, we are going to look the human behavior in a different way, my dear friends, than compared with the rest of the other social sciences. We try to study the human behavior and relations, my dear friends. Sociology seems to be a laboratory studies of the obvious. Means we are going to take this entire society into the laboratory and we are trying to study about the society. To these people, sociology is a common sense. Sociology is a common sense, my dear friends. And sociologists have long found that no matter how personal our experiences are there, they will try to study the human behavior, which may vary from one society to the other society. The sociological imagination enables its possessor to understand the larger historical scene in terms of its meaning from the inner life and external carrier of a variety of individuals. The sociological imagination is going to help us to understand the historical events or the history, and also how we are going to look from inside and how we are going to look from outside, my dear friends. The sociological imagination goes beyond common sense. It goes beyond common sense. Most people believe that understanding the world and the events taking place within it, humans like to attribute causes to the events and attempt to understand what it is taking place around them. That is why individuals believe that God controls each and every element that the natural world in the natural world. For example, it may be weather or else global warming. When I was kid, like my grandpa used to tell me that you have to respect the nature. We have to respect the nature. And he also told me that if you're not going to respect the nature, then the God is going to get angry and the nature is going to take revenge on us. And because in the olden days, there was people, because whenever we used to have questions which could not be answered by the human beings, at that time, people used to simply attach it to the God or to the religion because the scientific temperament was low, education levels among the individuals were low, the understanding capacity of the people was low because of various factors. So at the time, they have simply assigned each and everything to the religion or to the God minds, to the religion or to the gods. But right now, we know if we are not going to give respect to the nature, what happens? We simply cut down the forest, and if the forest is being cut down, we know what is happening. The ozone layer, the oxygen percentage is going down, and the oxygen level is goes down. That means ozone layer is going to become thinner. The duty of the ozone layer is to purify or filter the ultraviolet rays which are coming from the sun. And if this filter is not there, then the UV rays will directly reach Earth and the people will be infected with bone cancer, skin cancer, and people will be put to death or will be burned to ashes. You must have watched this movie Aditya 369. In that, they have said in the near future, the earth will not be suitable for habitation. People will be constructing the bunkers underground and they'll be staying underground because the ozone layer is becoming thinner or else it has simply gone. At the same time, as the temperature increases, all the glaciers which are there, that will also melt. And you know what happens? The whole earth will be submerged beneath water, and we people cannot stay because there is no soil for us. We'll be simply put to death, my dear friends. Page number 32. Okay, will be put to death, my dear friends. So here, whatever people used to say in terms of God, everything, right now we are going to explain them using sociological imagination, that too, using scientific experiments, everything. So the development of this sociology as a discipline came in the 19th century. The first book of sociology is written by Herbert Spencer. The first sociology course was taught in University of Kansas, Lawrence, 1890. And the first full-fledged university department of sociology was established in America, United States of America, in the year 1892. So likewise, it was started there, and in India in the year 1919 in Bombay, Patrick Geddes was responsible for introducing this sociology. He opened the department in India. And Lepley, an eminent sociologist influenced by Geddes, was interested in human geography and town planning with specific interest in the problems of urban areas. He studied the town planning of such cities as Calcutta and so on, my dear friends. And these people, they try to help us in developing the sociology even in India. Now let us discuss about the contributions of early founding fathers. August Comte is regarded as the father of sociology. He tried to study the society in a systematic and scientific way. He has given the theory, law of three stages, my dear friends. He has given law of three stages. He said that each and every society will be passing on through three stages. The first one is theological stage, second one is metaphysical stage, and the third one is positivism stage. It is there in page number 34, first paragraph, my dear friends. First one is theological, metaphysical, and the third one is positivism stage. In the theological stage, whatever religion says, people used to blindly follow that. At the initial stage, one God was came into existence. As the problems, as the issues of the individuals came into existence, multiple gods came into existence. If you see in Mesopotamian civilization, there were 63,000 gods, my dear friends, and the temples were known as ziggurats. But as coming to the Indian society or Hindu society, we have more than 3 crore gods. And once a religion came, at the time a priest and a philosophy will come forward, and whatever the philosophy says, people used to blindly follow it, my dear friends. Theological stage. And coming to the metaphysical stage, people started questioning why I should do like this. నేను ఇలానే ఎందుకు చేయాలా నాకు ఇష్టం ఉన్నట్టు నేను ప్రవర్తిస్తాను. I am going to behave according to my will and wish. Why I need to apply turmeric to my feet? I will apply chili powder. Why I have to apply dhoti? I will put on jean pant. So people are going to behave according to their will and wish in this metaphysical stage. In the metaphysical stage, my dear friends. Whereas coming to the positive stage, my dear friends, in this, for each and every behavior, for each and every interaction, they are going to explain in a systematic and scientific way, my dear friends. Why turmeric has become very important in the Hindu philosophy or Indian society, beta? Because it is antibiotic. Applying to the feet, it is going to kill all the bacteria germs. If you're going to take this turmeric, do you know what happens better? It is going to control diabetes. It is going to increase the immunity. At the same time, it also solves the problem of Alzheimer's. It seems the doctors in America have done the research on this turmeric, and they have said that it also reduces Alzheimer's. మతిమరుపును కూడా తగ్గిస్తుంది. So for each and everything, my dear friends, we are going to explain in a systematic and scientific way in the positive stage. So August Combe also said that all the societies, all the countries on this planet will not be in the same stage at a time. One country may be in the theological stage, one country may be in the positivism stage. When HIV or AIDS was spreading, like Africa was number one. At the time, World Health Organization, they have gone to African continent to explore why Africa is number one in terms of HIV or AIDS. So when they have gone there, they came to know that there was a belief system, blind faith. And do you know what was that? If any person is going to have the symptoms of HIV or AIDS, they think that a ghost has occupied their body. And if the ghost has to move away from the body, the boy needs to have a physical relation with a spinster, an unmarried girl. That is how Africa was number one. I am not saying this. World Health Organization has said that, my dear friends. It is because of the blind faith. Africa even now is in the theological stage, and even in India, some parts of the country is in the theological stage. Whereas India as a whole, we are in the metaphysical stage. We are either sticking on to the traditional aspects, neither going to the scientific temperament. We are going to behave according to a will and fish. Whereas if we see the developed countries like America, Australia, United Kingdom, UK, and so on, they are in the positive stage. Even in these countries, in order to prove whether there is spirit or ghost, దయ్యాలు భూతాలు ఉన్నాయా లేవా వాటిని తెలుసుకోవడానికి కూడా కొన్ని మెషిన్స్ ని కనుక్కున్నారు. They have also invented certain machines in order to explore whether there are any spirits or whether there is any ghost, my dear friends. That much advanced they are. So August Combe has given the law of 3 stages, my dear friends. Okay. Then he has also given the concepts like, 1 minute guys. Okay, 1 minute guys, I will share the link. Okay, wait for 1 minute. Better you, any guys, you can join this via the group. Okay, group link. Okay, so he has given the law of 3 stages. The second one is, he said that sociology can be studied in 2 dimensions. One is social static and the other one is social dynamic. Social static and social dynamic. In social static, he tried to explain how different institutions came into existence. How different institutions came into existence and how they are interrelated with each other. That will be explained by this social static. సమాజంలో వివిధ వ్యవస్థలు ఏ విధంగా ఆవిర్భవించాయి, ఒక వ్యవస్థకి ఇంకో వ్యవస్థకి ఎలా సంబంధాలు ఉన్నాయో తెలుసుకోవడానికి ఉపయోగపడేదే సోషల్ స్టాటిక్. Like how family as an institution came into existence, how political institutions came into existence, how economical institutions came into existence, and how they are linked with each other. That will be studied by this social static. And there are changes in these institutions. So social dynamic will try to study how there are changes in the institutions and how these are going to have influence on the other institutions will be studied by social dynamic. For example, in the olden days, girls used to be confined only to the 4 walls. ఓన్లీ ఇంటి పని చేసేవాళ్ళు. కానీ ఇప్పుడు ఏమైందండి, గర్ల్స్ ఆర్ ఫ్రీ టు కమ్ అవుట్ సైడ్, దే ఆర్ బీయింగ్ ఎడ్యుకేటెడ్ అండ్ దే ఆర్ ఫ్రీ టు ఫైండ్ ఎ జాబ్. Because girl is going to come outside, there are changes in the family system, there are certain changes in the family. So is it going to have any effect on the other institutions? Yes, my dear friends. Once both the wife and husband are going to work, who has to take care of the children? Now both of them are working, so they do not find time, so they are going to drop their child in the baby care center or crutches. And who has to take care of the old parents? Obviously, a maid or nurse is going to be employed, or else they are simply going to drop them in the old age homes. Sometimes they will be tired, they could not cook the food, so hotels came into existence. Going to the hotel and having the food is a problem. So what we are going to do better? We are going to order the food on Swiggy. Sometimes we find it difficult to drive it, so we are going to have Ola, Uber. Washing the clothes have become a problem, so washing machines came into existence. So because a girl is coming outside, n number of employment opportunities came in the different areas, my dear friends. So social dynamic will be trying to study how changes are taking place and how different, how it is going to affect or bring the changes in the other institutions will be studied by it. సమాజంలో వివిధ వ్యవస్థలు ఎలా ఆవిర్భవించాయి, ఆ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ లో ఎలాంటి సంబంధం ఉందో చెప్పేదే సోషల్ స్టాటిక్. It tries to study how different institutions came into existence, how they are interrelated, and if there is any change, how the changes are going to come and how it is going to have the impact on the other institutions will be studied by social static. అమ్మాయిలు బయట పని చేస్తున్నారు కదా, మరి ఆఫీసులలో వాళ్ళని హరాస్ చేస్తున్నారు, స్ట్రీట్స్ పైన కూడా హరాస్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో అలా కాకుండా ఉండడానికి ఏం చేశారు, షీ టీమ్స్ అనేది వచ్చేసాయి, కొత్తవి వచ్చేసాయి. ఆర్థిక లావాదేవీలకు ఆన్లైన్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ వచ్చాయి. ఆన్లైన్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అయిన తర్వాత ఏమైంది, సైబర్ క్రైమ్స్ పెరిగింది, సైబర్ పోలీస్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ వచ్చేసింది. సో ఇట్ విల్ బి స్టడీడ్ బై దిస్ సోషల్ డైనమిక్. So sociology can be better understood by social static as well as social dynamic. And the third contribution of August Combe is hierarchy of sciences. Hierarchy of sciences. ఉన్న శాస్త్రాలన్నిటినీ కూడా వాళ్ళు క్రమశ్రేణిలో పెట్టడం జరిగింది. According to August Combe, the first subject which evolved on this planet is mathematics. First subject భూమి మీద పుట్టింది లెక్కలండి. ఈవెన్ ఇన్ ద ప్రీ-లిటరేట్ సొసైటీస్, ప్రీ-లిటరేట్ భాష లేని సమాజాలలో కూడా ఫస్ట్ పుట్టిన శాస్త్రం మ్యాథమెటిక్స్. ఇఫ్ ఐ గో టు మై మామ్ అండ్ సే, మామ్, tomorrow I am going to celebrate my birthday party, then what my mama will ask, how many people have you invited for your birthday party? ఎంత మందిని ఇన్వైట్ చేశావు? మా ఇంటికి నుండి కాలేజ్కి ఎంత దూరం? So we are going to use the number. If I'm going to use bow and arrow, what must be the angle? What must be the distance? So for that, the first subject which evolved on this planet is mathematics. Second subject which evolved on this planet is astronomy. మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా ఇంటి పైన కప్పు పైన పడుకున్నారా అండి? మీరు పడుకొని ఆకాశంలో చూసినప్పుడు రాత్రిపూట నక్షత్రాలు అవుపడతాయి. We see the stars. So at that time, people were ambitious, curious to know what are these. Only during the night time, these are going to shine. So these people started curiosity to learn about the galaxy, about the space, everything. So the second subject which came into existence on this planet is astronomy. It studies about the planetary movements, change of climates, what not, my dear friends. So now what happened, beta? Now they know about mathematics. The second one is astronomy. The third one is people were dying early. People were dying early. So people, no one wants to die early, my dear friends. They want to live for longer period. So at the time they started concentrating, what is this disease like, everything. So they started concentrating to know or doing research to know how they can live for longer period. So they started understanding about the biology of the human beings. The third one is water biology. Once they have understood the causes for the problems, for health problems, everything, they want to invent the medicine, the solutions for the problems. So the next subject which came is chemistry, my dear friends. Okay, sorry guys. The first one is mathematics, the second one is astronomy, and the third one is they want to simplify the activities. That was physics. The fourth one was biology. Fifth one was chemistry. Now they have simplified the act, they have understood the problems, and they've also come up with the solutions. And now there were social problems. People were fighting with each other, people were killing each other. So now they want to find certain solutions so that they can stay with each other in harmony, in peace, so that they can live for longer period without any disturbance. So last is social sciences, my dear friends. The first is mathematics, and the last one is social sciences. He has given this hierarchy of sciences. So first one is law of three stages. Second one is static and dynamic. The third contribution is hierarchy of sciences. And the fourth contribution is he has also proposed a religion. Actually, he was not interested in religion. He did not have faith in the God, neither the religion. So whatever the religions were there at that time, he has simply rejected those theories or the religions at that time. And you know what they have done? He he has proposed a new religion, that is the religion of humanity. Religion of humanity. When I love and the principle of this religion is love. When I love anyone, I'm not going to exploit any person. I try to look after the welfare of the people, my dear friends. I try to look after the welfare of the people. So what he has done, he has simply rejected all the religions because these religions were not helpful in providing or increasing the humanity among the individuals. They believe in God, but they are trying to kill the other religious groups, and there is a problem. So he has rejected all these religions and he has proposed a new religion that is nothing but the religion of humanity. So these are the contributions of August Comte, who is the founding father of sociology. The next one is Emile Durkheim. Emile Durkheim's contributions are, the first one is social facts. Our duty is to identify the facts, my dear friends. Okay. Just like the sun rises in the east, it is a fact. The same way, it is the duty of the sociologist to identify the facts which are underlying under the human behavior, my dear friends. మానవ సంబంధాలు మానవ బిహేవియర్లో సంభాషణలో ఉండే సత్యాలు ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆ సత్యాలను వెలికి తీసే పని చేసేదే సమాజ శాస్త్రము. Its duty is to identify the facts, my dear friends. So he has talked about social facts. The second one, during the 18th century, a lot of people were committing suicide. And it was very, very fascinating for him to know why people were committing suicide. Why people were committing suicide. So at the time, he has gone to all the families and he asked, why your family member has committed suicide? మీ కుటుంబ సభ్యులు ఎందుకు ఆత్మహత్య చేసుకున్నారు? ఒకటే జవాబు వచ్చింది, ఏంటిది? దేవుడు నుదుటి రాత ఇలా రాశాడు. God has written their fate like this. So can we prove it better? We cannot prove it. We cannot prove it. So according to sociology as a science, if anything cannot be proved, it is not acceptable. We are going to reject that theory. So Emile Durkheim has rejected that theory and he has proposed a new theory of suicides, my dear friends. He has proposed a new theory of suicides. New theory of suicides. Okay. He has said there are three types of suicides. Egoistic, altruistic, and anomic. If the ego of a person is hurted, and at the time, if he or she commits suicide, then we call it as egoistic suicide. And if a person is going to sacrifice his life for the welfare of his family members, for the welfare of the community, or for the welfare of the society, knowingly if a person is going to sacrifice his life, then we call it as altruistic. All the soldiers, they know that at any point of time, the neighboring soldiers may open firing at them and they may be put to death. In spite of knowing it, they are going to safeguard their respective country. They are knowingly they are going to sacrifice their life. We call it as altruistic society. And if there is a sudden change in the norms and values or change in the society at the time, if people cannot cope up with the changing circumstances at the time, if they commit suicide, then we call it as anomic suicide. So he has talked about this suicides. And he has also talked about the concept of sacred and profane, pavitramu, apavitra bhavana, in terms of religion. He said that each and every religion has the concept of this sacred and profane. Means sacred is nothing but which is acceptable. Pavitram ante adi ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయవచ్చు, ఆమోదించబడినది. ఏదైతే ఆమోదించబడినదో దాన్ని ప్రొఫేన్ అంటాము. So whatever is accepted, that is sacred, and whatever is not, it is profane. Okay. In one's religion, something may be accepted, but the same thing may not be acceptable in the other's religion. So whatever is acceptable in my religion may not be the same in the other religion. So he has brought the concept of this sacred and profane. So contributions are social facts, then sacred and profane, and the third one is this theory of societies. And he talked about solidarity too. He said that there are two types of solidarity. One is mechanical solidarity and the other one is organic solidarity. In the rural areas, people know each other by their name, by their caste, by their religion, by their social and economical condition, and people try to help each other, my dear friends. It happens mechanically. Then we call it as mechanical solidarity. Whereas in the industrialized societies, people come with a purpose. If I'm going to deliver the lecture for you, what is the benefit I am going to get? So people are going to come only with a purpose, my dear friends. Once the purpose is fulfilled, or if the purpose is not being fulfilled, at the time people will simply withdraw their membership, my dear friends. So we find this solidarity either mechanical or organic solidarity. So these are the four contributions of Emil Durkheim. Okay, so let us discuss about Karl Marx. Actually, Karl Marx was not a sociologist. His thought has a greater impact on sociology. And here it has a greater impact on the development, on the concept of development. That is the reason we have also borrowed his theories in sociology, my dear friends. Karl Marx tried to study about different institutions. He tried to study about different institutions or different types of societies and how the people have been classified in all these societies and how the differences arise. So he has said that there are 5 types of societies, like primitive communism, slavery, feudalism, capitalism, and socialism. And according to Karl Marx, the first and the last society, primitive communism and the socialism, we call it as classless societies. And the rest of the 3 societies like slavery system, feudalism, and capitalism, we are going to have division of labor. We are going to have division of labor. Like in our 10th class in social sciences, we have studied about haves and have-nots, haves and have-nots. In the slavery system, who have right on the soul and who does not have the right? And in the feudalism, who own the land and who does not own the land? Whereas in the capitalism, who are capitalists and who are working class, my dear friends? So in these 3 societies, we are going to have division of labor, my dear friends. And in all these, the haves will always try to exploit the have-nots, my dear friends, by making them work for longer period and by paying them very, very less. And Karl Marx has said that when all the people, when the working class comes to know if the problems are same, are similar at the time, they try to come together and they try to organize themselves and try to fight for justice. If the conflict is successful, If the conflict is successful, my dear friends, at that time we are going to have socialist form of government. And if the conflict is not successful, if the conflict is not successful, at that time we are going to have middle class people between bourgeois and proletariat. We are going to have semi-bourgeois class, my dear friends, who are nothing but supervisors or managers who are going to control the people. According to Karl Marx, poverty is not because of lack of resources. Poverty is not because of lack of resources, but it is because of exploitation. And Karl Marx has said that conflict alone is the vehicle. Conflict alone is the vehicle to bring the change in the society. So this about the Karl Marx, like he has given about societies, about the theory of alienation, everything. Then Herbert Spencer is a British writer, and he was very much influenced by the Darwin's theory. Darwin's theory we have studied in our school in biology, my dear friends. The fittest of the fittest organism is going to survive, and the weakest is going to simply disappear from this planet. So Herbert Spencer was very much influenced by this evolutionary theory, and he tried to make a comparison between the organism and the society. He tried to apply the Darwin's theory to the society. In this process, he has given the theory of organic analogy. He tried to identify the similarities. The first thing is both the society and the organism move from invisible stage to the visible stage. Both move from invisible stage to the visible stage. Second one, both move from smaller to bigger stage. In the organism, in this organism, I'm going to have n number of organs which are interrelated. The same way in the society, there are n number of institutions which are interrelated, my dear friends. Each and every organ in this body have a specific function. Eyes to see, ears to listen, isn't it, beta? The same way in the society, there are different institutions with specific functions. Each and every institution has a specific function, and all are interrelated, my dear friends. Okay, but this organism and this society also has few differences, my dear friends. The differences are the society will last for longer period until unless there are no natural calamities. కరువు కాటకాలు లేదా వరదలు ఇలాంటి వైపరీత్యాలు వచ్చే వరకు ఆ సమాజం అనేది అలానే ఉంటుంది. బట్ దిస్ ఆర్గానిజం, మై డియర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, maybe after 50 years or 100 years or 200 years, I'm going to simply die. This organism stays for longer period, but comparatively to the society, it is shorter life, my dear friends. In this organism, if one organ fails to perform its function, the other organ will not be able to take that activity. Whereas in the society, if one institution fails to perform the activity, other institution will take up that activity, my dear friends. So these are the differences in terms of this organism and the society. And the next one is Max Weber. Is a German sociologist and a political economist, my dear friends. He has given the uh, bureaucracy, my dear friends. As industries came into existence, a lot of people are being hired by the industries. So how to recruit them, how to manage them, how to allocate the work, everything for that we require a mechanism, my dear friends. So he has created a mechanism of bureaucracy. Nowadays, whatever the bureaucracy system which we are discussing, that is the contribution of Max Weber. So these are the major contributions of the sociologists. Now let us discuss about the scientific methods which we are going to use in terms of sociology. In the previous class, we have said that if we want to treat any subject as a science, what we require, beta? We require experimentation, verification, reliability of data, and validity. So we are going to see whether the theories have this or not. If the theory does not have validity, if the theory cannot be verified, we are going to simply reject those theories and we are going to propose new theories in place of that, my dear friends. So how we are going to do the research in social sciences? In page number 39, we have the steps in social science research, my dear friends. The first step in doing the research is identifying the research problem. We are going to identify a problem. For some people, it is not a problem. For a sociologist, we are going to see the problem as a problem, identifying the research problem. And the second one is we are going to see whether some people have done the research and whether they have published it or not. We call it as review of literature. Some people have done the research and they must have published their research findings in the newspaper, either magazines or in the form of books, government reports or gazettes. So we are going to review this literature. So what is the need for us to review the literature? By reading their experiences, by reading the reports, it gives more inputs for us. It gives more inputs for our study. So we can study about the problem. We can know about the prospective problems which we may face while conducting the research. All these things we'll find. And based on it, we are going to see whether we go for explorative research design, experimental research design, or whether we are going for descriptive research design, experimental descriptive line. So you have a research methodology paper, don't worry, you'll be studying about this research design in depth at that time. So the second one is review of literature. The third one is formulation of selected problem. We are going to define the problem and make a concept of it. Defining the problem, we are going to formulate the selected one. The next one is we are going to formulate our objectives. What exactly we want to study, that is a part of objective. Remember, objectives are nothing but what exactly we want to study, that will be a part of objectives. And based on the objectives, we are going to prepare, we may prepare our hypothesis. We may prepare our hypothesis. Hypothesis is nothing but a tentative statement. It is nothing but a tentative statement assuming that, made by the researcher, assuming that there is some sort of relation between two or more variables. రెండు మూడు అంశాల మధ్యల సంబంధం ఉంది అని నేను ఊహిస్తున్నాను. It is only my assumption and it may be there or it may not be there. So I'm going to formulate the hypothesis so that this hypothesis is going to guide me, like what kind of information I have to gather from the people, what kind of information I have to gather from the people. Next one, how to test it and how to prove it. For that we require hypothesis. And after formulating the hypothesis, we are also going to have a research plan, my dear friends. We are going to prepare a research plan. In that, I am going to tell about area of study, or we also call it as universe. Whether I'm going to do the study in Hyderabad. If I'm going to do in Hyderabad, Hyderabad is going to be my study area. If I'm going to do the study throughout the country, then India will be my research area. And if I'm going to do the study across the globe in all the countries, then the whole world will be my research area. So I'm going to explain about the features and the characteristics of that universe or the research area. The next one is sample size. Whether I'm going to gather the information from each and every individual or only few people. I'm going to mention from how many number of people I'm going to gather the information. So if I'm going to gather the information from each and every individual, we don't require any sampling method. But if you are going to gather the information only from few section of the people, then we are going to use sampling method. In our 10th class, my dear friends, we have studied, like if you're going to toss a coin, then the chances of getting heads or tails is 50-50. Is 50-50. Isn't it? We know that the coin has only two faces. And if you're going to put on the dice, the chance of getting any number is 1/6. For the dice, it is 1/6. It has 6 faces. So there in our mathematics, we have studied about probability. So if you know about the number of people with the specific characteristics to be studied, then we go for probability sampling. మనం ఏ లక్షణాలతోని ఉన్న ప్రజలను అధ్యయనం చేయాలనుకుంటున్నామో వారి సంఖ్య తెలిసినప్పుడు మనం ప్రాబబిలిటీ శాంప్లింగ్ ని ఉపయోగిస్తాం. మేడం మేడం ప్లీజ్ మేడం 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 యూట్యూబ్ రికార్డింగ్ हो रहा थोड़ा हल्लू प्लीज. Okay. So when we know about the number of people with the specific features to be studied, then we go for probability. And if we do not know about the number of the people, then we go for non-probability sampling. To make it clear, I will give one example. There are n number of people who smoke. Chala mandi smoke chestar. Kani enta mandi? How many? We don't have any information. We do not have specific number. When you do not have specific number, then we go for non-probability sampling. How many boosts? Thousands and crores of people boost, but we do not have a specific number. How many people consume or are addicted to drugs? How many people are into flesh trade? All these things I do not have number. When I do not have the number, I go for non-probability. And if I have the number, then I am going to go for probability sampling. So I'm going to tell about sampling method. Okay, in that probability one. And the next one is we have methods of data collection. We are going to have like observation, questionnaire method, interview schedule, case study. Like these are the tools of data collection. We'll be discussing that again. Okay. So after these tools, what we do better, we are going to prepare our tool which is appropriate for the study. And we go to the field. We are going to gather the information from the people. And after gathering the information, we are going to draft a report, my dear friends. Data collection. And after data collection, we are going to process the data, edit data, coding will be done. We are going to turn the data into tables and we are going to interpret the data. And the last one is analysis of data. And the last step is report writing. So these are the steps in terms of social science research. Now let us discuss about the tools of tools of data collection. It is there in your page number 40. If you have a book, in page number 40, you have it, my dear friends. The first one is observation. Observation means to see. Observation means to see with a purpose. Beta, have you ever gone to a vegetable market? Guys, have you ever gone to a vegetable market? Yes. Once you have gone there, while purchasing the vegetables, what you have done, beta? You must have taken the tomatoes. And if you're going to cook the tomatoes on the same day, you're going to take the ripened one. ఈ రోజే వండుకుంటా అంటే పండిన టమాటాలు తీసుకుంటాను, లేదా ఒక వారం రోజుల తర్వాత అంటే కొంచెం కచ్చవి తీసుకుంటాను. See, you're seeing the tomatoes with a purpose. అలానే పుచ్చులు ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయా, ఏమైనా ఖరాబ్ అయిపోయినాయా, రోటలు ఉన్నాయా, అవి చూస్తారు. You're going to see. When you're going to purchase the tomatoes, you're also going to see what kind of tomatoes you want, when you're going to cook it, and where the vendor is going to sell the tomatoes for cheaper price, my dear friends. The same way here, when we go into the society, we are going to see the human interactions with a purpose. Seeing with a purpose, we call it as observation. Observation is of two types, my dear friends. One is participant observation and the other one is non-participant observation. Participant and non-participant observation. In that one, if you are going to involve with the people and if you are going to study them, then we call it as participant observation. And if you are going to be out of the group and if you are going to study a group or a group of people, then we call it as non-participant observation. Group lo sabhyulai parishudana cheste participant. Group baita undi adhyanam cheste non-participant observation. The next one is historical method. Historical method. This method consists of study of events, processes and institutions and put civilization for the purpose of finding the origins of various institutions or society. చరిత్ర నుండి ఇప్పటిదాకా డిఫరెంట్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ఎలా వచ్చాయి, ఎలా అభివృద్ధి చెందాయి, ఎలా రూపాంతరం చెందుకుంటూ వచ్చాయో వాటి గురించి అధ్యయనం చేయాలంటే హిస్టారికల్ మెథడ్ అనేది ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. Then we are also going to use comparative method. Once we have seen two societies or two communities, we are going to make comparison between two individuals, two societies, or two communities to identify the similarities, also to find out the differences, my dear friends. And the next one is we are going to use statistical methods. We are going to use statistical methods. So we are nothing but applying mathematics to study the human facts, my dear friends. Statistics is the science of numbering and measuring a social phenomena and interpreting the facts using this one. For example, recently when we had elections in the year 2019, how many people have casted their vote for UPA or Congress party and its supporters? How many people have cast their vote to BJP, NDA and its alliances? ఏ పార్టీకి ఎంతమంది ఓట్లేశారు నెంబర్ని ఉపయోగించి నెంబర్ని బట్టి మనం చేస్తున్నాం. దాంట్లో ఎంతమంది ఆడవాళ్ళు ఓట్లేశారు, ఎంతమంది మగవాళ్ళు వేస్తారు. How many people from rural area and urban area? So we are going to use this number and we are going to study it. Then we call it as statistical method, my dear friends. Then we are also going to use sociometry. It has been recently evolved by some sociologists for measurement of non-statistical relations. Statistical number దగ్గరేమో అవి ఉపయోగిస్తున్నాం, మరి అక్కడ లేనప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాం, సోషియోమెట్రీని ఉపయోగిస్తాము. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, I want to study about class conflicts. వర్గాల మధ్యలో ఘర్షణ అధ్యయనం చేయాలా, ఏ విధంగా మనుషులు అడ్జస్ట్ అవుతున్నారు, సోషల్ అడ్జస్ట్మెంట్స్ జరుగుతున్నాయి, వాటి గురించి తెలుసుకోవాలనుకున్నాను. I want to know about interpersonal relations. So if I want to study all these things, then sociometry is the best tool, my dear friends. And the next one is social survey method. If you want to gather the information from each and every individual, then we go for survey method. It is the combination of two words, sir plus way. Sir, S-U-R, sir plus way. Sir plus way. That means to see from above. To see from above. The government of India, YouTube recording. Okay, sorry, beta. For example, every 10 years, the government of India is going to gather the information from each and every household. ప్రతి ఒక్క కుటుంబం నుండి సామాజిక ఆర్థిక స్థితిగతుల గురించి దేశం మొత్తం సర్వే చేసి దాన్ని సెన్సస్ రిపోర్ట్ రూపంలో ప్రచురిస్తుంది. So using the census reports, we can identify the information or gather the information about the people. So gathering the information from each and every individual is a Herculean task because we require more resources, we require more manpower, we require more financial resources. It also takes a lot of time to compile the data and also to publish it, my dear friends. Recently, when Telangana state has been formed in the year 2014, our CM KCR has gone for household survey, Kutumba Samagra survey. All the households which are there in Telangana, they try to gather the information pertaining to socio-economical condition, my dear friends. So, and we try to gather the information. Survey method, we are going to gather the information from each and every individual. In the survey method, we can use questionnaire method, or else we can also use interview method. So in the questionnaire method, we are going to prepare the questions and we are going to give it to the people, and the people are going to give the answers for that. We call it as questionnaire method. So there are two types of questionnaires, my dear friends, based on the types of questions. If you are going to give the questions and if you are going to give the space for the individuals so that they can explain or they can share their thoughts or ideas, then we call it as open-ended questionnaire. మనం ప్రశ్న ఇచ్చి జవాబు రాయడానికి స్పేస్ ఇచ్చాం, దాన్ని ఏమంటాం, ఓపెన్ ఎండెడ్ క్వశ్చనర్ అంటాం. అదే మీరు ప్రశ్నలు ఇచ్చి కింద జవాబులు ఇస్తారు, మల్టిపుల్ చాయిస్ అంటాం కదా, ఆప్షన్స్ ఇస్తాం. సో ద రెస్పాండెంట్ హ్యాస్ టు సెలెక్ట్ ద ఆన్సర్ ఓన్లీ ఫ్రమ్ ద గివెన్ చాయిసెస్, దెన్ వి కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ closed-ended questionnaire. సో ప్రశ్నలు తయారు చేస్తున్నాం, వాళ్ళకి ఇస్తున్నాము, వాళ్ళే చదివి వాళ్ళంతట వాళ్ళే జవాబులు ఇస్తున్నారు. దాన్ని ప్రశ్నావళిక అంటాము. Based on the types of questions, it can be open-ended or closed-ended. The next one is interview. The researcher is going to ask the questions to the people, and the people are going to give the answers verbally or orally, and the researcher is going to note down the answers. That we call it as interview. Interview are of two types, my dear friends. One is structured interview and the other one is unstructured interview. Structured interview, the researcher is going to prepare the questions and is going to pose the questions, same questions to each and every individual. ప్రశ్నలు తయారు చేశాడు, అందరికీ కూడా ఇవే ప్రశ్నల్ని సంధించాడు. దాన్ని ఏమన్నాము? స్ట్రక్చర్డ్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ అన్నాము. And if I'm going to prepare the questions instantly, then and there itself, based on the answers given by the respondent, then we call it as unstructured interview. సో సర్వేలో మనం ప్రశ్నావళిక ఉపయోగించవచ్చు, తర్వాత ఇంటర్వ్యూ పద్ధతిని కూడా ఉపయోగించవచ్చు. దీస్ ఆర్ ద అగైన్ టూ టూల్స్, మై డియర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్. Then the next one is case study. Case study is nothing but an in-depth study about an individual, a group of people, an institution or society at large. ఏదైనా ఒక వ్యవస్థ గురించి కానివ్వండి, ఒక వ్యక్తి గురించి కానివ్వండి, ఒక సమూహం గురించి కానివ్వండి, ఏదైనా ఒక అంశం గురించి, ఫెనోమెనా గురించి అధ్యయనం, కంప్లీట్ గా అధ్యయనం చేసేదాన్ని కేస్ స్టడీ అంటాము. అండ్ ద లాస్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ పబ్లిక్ ఒపీనియన్. We also use public opinion method. Before the elections, we are going to have pre-poll surveys. These media channels, what they do better, they go to few people and they ask, this time which political party will come into power? What is your opinion? They are going to gather the opinion of the people and they are going to say that this time either BJP or Congress or some other party will come into power. So we are going to take the public opinion poll method and study about the opinion of the individuals or the sentiments, the attitudes of the people, my dear friends. So these are the methods which are being used and which will be used by sociologists to study the society. These are not only the tools, but we also have the tools like oral history. We also have this PRA, participatory rural appraisal, participatory learning and action. Likewise, there are a number of new tools which are being invented and being used in social sciences, my dear friends. So this about the emergence of sociology and the tools and methods which are being used in sociology, my dear friends. By this, we have completed block 1. In the next class, we will be studying about society, community, association, and institution. Actually, I am supposed to complete even the 4th unit, but I will be completing along with the other lessons because I thought like, let me introduce you guys to the thinkers about their contributions, everything, and about the methodology which is being used, so that if you are thorough with this, you will generate more interest into the subject. Okay, beta? If you have any doubts, you are free to ask, my dear friends. If you have any doubts in this lesson, you're free to unmute yourself, or else you can also text it in the chat box so that I will give the answers. Okay, I will reply it to you guys. ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే చెప్పండి అన్న. Okay. Muskan, don't worry, beta. At the last, we will discuss about the important questions on one day. In the first lesson, most of the time they will be asking like, define sociology, explain its nature and scope of sociology. That is very important, damn sure. And there will also be a question like, define sociology and explain the relation between sociology and social sciences. And the third lesson, they may ask, explain the steps in social science research, or write a note on different tools used by sociologists. So these are the important questions in these 3 lessons, my dear friends. Okay, beta. If you have no doubt, conclude the lesson here, beta.